Enter the Titan Castle. Attack! All right, so this is the Titan Castle. This is the gym, and this is where Momo and I got to train during the lockdown. Luckily, 6 months before the lockdown. But this was my surprise birthday gift, and it has everything for me to get a workout in. The mat winning belt squat, do a lot of different kind of stuff. Obviously, you can do the legs and all that stuff, but there's extra stuff we can do. We got the cables behind for all those little details. For all you guys skipping legs, you can at least do the mat winning belt squat. Bars, Chris Duffin has set us up with tons and tons of great bars. And then I got my power rack. I can create a full power bodybuilding program with just this equipment, and it's enough stuff and enough room for me to, which it was, allowed me to get in this kind of shape and go off season and just put that memory muscle back on that I lost from guest posing and guest posing and guest posing. And that's why I say don't stay in a deficit. You're hurting yourself. So it worked out good for me. And then
it's not much, but it's exactly what we needed. And we did the power bodybuilding program, and that's a long program. And this is it. This is what we did it, and this is the only equipment that we needed, actually.
Yeah, I'd go the opposite. I know it's not much. It's plenty. It's plenty. You don't even need this much to get a good program and work out. On the wall, we got high school football. We got artwork. We got some incredible plaques. I do a lot of tours for the military. And so you guys back home, military, love you guys. First responders, police, stay safe. I respect all of you guys. So it's awesome to go overseas and support the troops. One of my Kung Fu magazines covers with Mike Swain, who was the Olympics judo coach and who taught me judo. Gladiators, Guinness World Records. Yes, I own some Guinness World Records as well.
What records do you got?
So I got running through a panes of glass, 20 of them with my head. The crazy run, yes. Why'd you do that? They paid me, I get to travel, and I get to break shit. I'm in.
Mike, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go! E voilà. È davvero pericoloso per il nostro Mike. L'ultima! Sì! Ragazzi, non ho parole.
I always wanted as a kid my own gym where we'd put up the covers and stuff like that, but it seems like it was the TV shows and the other artworks that made more than the actual covers that meant something to me. I got my Mr. Universe trophies behind us. My whole life is a competition. So that's the coolest thing about it. I got to, which most athletes don't get to when they're done with football. You know, they got to find that next thing. And for me, I got gladiators in my 20s, I got battledom in my 30s, I got gladiators in my 40s, and then the weightlifting and that intensity and keeping at this level is continued to keep me in the fight. I come from a family of 10, so we found out pretty quick if we could fight, run, wrestle. So it was a great way to grow up and also discover the athletic ability. But I came from two parents that were very athletic. So yeah, I know it was 9 years old is when I started really training hard and dieting. I was already into martial arts. I was already fighting my older brothers and getting drop kicked from my older sisters. So I had to protect myself. So it was just athletic ability. And then also it was prior to that, which made me really jump into lifting, is that I found out that I couldn't read or write. I'm one of those kids that started school, and back in the 70s, two things. It was one, because it was kind of funny because there's 10 of us and I was the youngest boy. And my dad was a teacher at that point and my mom was a writer, both college grads. And the school went to my parents and said, hey, we got a genius. Your boy's a genius. Let's have him skip from 1st grade to 3rd grade because he's picking up things so quickly and everything. What they didn't understand was I was trying to figure out things, but I couldn't read and write. And so I missed phonics completely, and they didn't discover I had dyslexia until later. So my parents were happy, yeah, skip a grade. Then I went into 3rd grade and I tanked. And they go, well, we were wrong. Can't write and spell, he's an idiot. So what we're gonna do now is instead of skipping a grade, we're gonna put him in special ed. So right into special ed from that point on. And then that's when I really had to take the training and everything to a different level, because we're kids, and everybody in my class would be teased because we were all special kids. You know, we had everybody in there, the kids eating checkers and drooling and wheelchairs, and so that was my crew. And so as a kid, I felt like I needed to protect them, and I could fight. And so anytime those kids were getting bullied, I would fight the bully. I trained from 9 till I was 13, and did my first meet was an Olympic lifting meet. And then by 14, I competed in my first bodybuilding show and powerlifting meet and crushed it. If there's anybody that knows my background, I was already training with the greatest powerlifters in the world. And so again, I look back and I go, wow, I got lucky on how I was raised, and then I got lucky on who I was around. So I was around Doyle Kennedy, Doug Furness, Jeff Magruder by that time. And these guys, to me, I didn't know a 600 bench was a lot, because I'm a 13, 14-year-old kid. I'm thinking, these guys can do it. That means I can do this one day. Everything that I did, I look back on and go, that's not normal in the sense of society. I would get up, I would train at the house first, then I'd go to school, do my paper route, play with the dogs, go to school. After school, ride the bike to the gym and power lift with those guys. We'd power lift on, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then they had this own room, powerlifting room. And it was me and all these men and women that were just lifting like animals. And there was no filter, there was nothing. They didn't treat me like a 13, 14-year-old kid. They treated me like I'm a man, and this is how we do it. Push-pull 100% worked for me, mostly for that time, that age. It gave me so much foundation. Also, it set me up again, and I've talked about this, the mindset of being able to get under those kind of weights at that age. And when it comes to power bodybuilding, I developed that understanding of it from Bruce Lee, where he took everything from somebody. It's based off of blunt force trauma, like Wolf's Law and Davis' Law. If I can make my bones extremely strong, and if I can make my connective tissue really strong, then that sets you up to be superhuman. And they've talked about this on the studies, is that a boxer, like, I can't punch something, a wall, and if I put in 500 pounds of pressure, my hand breaks, but a boxer can. So they actually develop superhuman power in their hands, that they're like cement blocks, because they can hit something with 1,000 pounds of pressure and it doesn't break. And so that's how my approach was with power bodybuilding. I'll create the body so freaking strong that the average stuff doesn't hurt it. And then the muscle will come from a side effect of just lifting and eating right. I would say there's not one elite guy, and especially somebody that's retired after the fact, that would say that lifting is more important than nutrition. I can't think of anybody that would say that. And anybody I've talked to, like Lee Haney, Rich Gaspar, any of these guys, Barry DeMay, none of those guys would say that the lifting is more. Everybody works out, and everybody works out pretty intense for what they can do. But it's the 23 hours after that, the 22 hours. Are they sleeping right? Are they eating right? I ate every 2 hours, but I ate a higher fat, higher carb diet and a good amount of protein back then. But I'd always eat every class. First period, before second period, eat a peanut butter and jam sandwich. Next, chocolate milk. Tons of pasta, tons of tuna fish. I would mix the pasta with whole eggs and tuna fish. And then I'd have a bucket. They used to do margarine in these big yellow buckets. And the Tupperwares today, that margarine Tupperware were my Tupperwares. And so I'd go, and my dad got me a cooler, and we'd leave it at school. They were great with me there, and I'd just go between class, grab a meal, boom, boom, boom. If I'm extra hungry, peanut butter sandwich, and I'd have about 3 a day, plus some chocolate milk.